Well, thank you very much. I will tell you that I do not like this kind of schedule I have today. My natural inclination is not to run away, make a speech and run away. My husband will tell you that if there's a meeting going on, I'm the last person to leave. But we had something sprung on us this week, a bill coming up for a vote this afternoon, and I have to handle the rule. In addition to being on the Education Committee, I am Vice Chair of the Rules Committee, and it's an education bill, so I'm in charge of it, and I have to leave to go back to the Capitol because they don't wait for you. You know, we're not in control. I've had a great conversation, though, with many of you talking about different issues. I was just talking with some of the KAPLAN people here about my experiences. I have always been sort of a rabble-rouser in education, as I told the KAPLAN people. My husband said I was a round peg in a square hole because I've always been very much in favor of innovation, very much in serving students and having students be the center of what you did instead of having the attitude that I heard a staffer once at Appalachian say, oh, if we just didn't have to deal with students, these jobs would be great. And I said, we wouldn't have jobs if we didn't deal with the students. So anyway, I've also always, I was on a school board and they'd say, we have to do this. And I'd say, why? Well, the federal government says you have to. I said, you know, a little civil disobedience might be great sometime. So you can tell I am not a big fan of one-size-fits-all federal rules and regulations. And I really have always been focused on delivering a product. My husband always said, come work in the private sector and make lots of money and buy what you want. But I didn't think that would work. So I grew up very poor, extraordinarily poor, parents with very little formal education. But I saw education as a way out of poverty. And my whole goal in life has been to do everything I can to help other people see that as the potential in their lives. I want to get the federal government out of education. I want to push the decision-making down to the state and local levels because I frankly have a lot of confidence in people there. Are they perfect? No. Do they make mistakes? Yes. But you know what? Bureaucrats in Washington don't have all the answers. And I'm very much, again, a private sector person and very much how can we diminish the role of the federal government? So more red tape and hoops to jump through aren't going to improve the choices that students have. The Higher Education Subcommittee, of which I chair, and I'm delighted to chair, is focused on removing, number one, removing barriers in higher education, two, spurring private enterprise, innovation, and job creation, and three, reducing the size and scope of the federal government's role in higher education. I think we need honest, bipartisan solutions to keep college affordable, within reach, and that's especially acute in today's economy. As my introducer said, we've always enjoyed a fabulous reputation in this country for having the best higher education system in the world. People have flocked here because of the diversity that we've had and the high quality. But unfortunately, I believe that quality is slipping and the cost of higher education is increasing dramatically, and it need not be that way. Since the last reauthorization of the Higher Ed Act, HEA, in 2008, the education landscape has changed dramatically, evolving with student population rapidly changing, institutions developing more cost-effective models, and that's good. So the reauthorization that we're working on right now is offering us a great opportunity to improve the law, strengthen the post-secondary system to ensure federal policies are flexible enough to allow future developments and innovations to occur. I often point out to people too, this is not directly analogous, but it's close. Where do you think we'd be with cell phones right now if the federal government had controlled the development of cell phones? Where would we be? That's right, we'd have big boxes we'd be carrying around. They wouldn't resemble anything. Best thing that ever happened to cell phone technology was that the federal government stayed out of it. So here are the principles we're working on. Number one, empowering students and families to make informed decisions. 2, simplifying and improving student aid. 3, promoting innovation, access, and completion. And 4, ensuring strong accountability and a limited federal role. So we want to keep college within reach of students, but preserve the excellence and diversity that's always set American colleges and universities apart. We cannot stand the rising cost. That something has to be done about that. We have to maintain access. I contend that we have lots of access for people of all kinds of backgrounds, and I'm a living proof of that, I think. But we have to work really hard to make sure that the federal government does not dictate college cost or set price controls over tuition and fees. We do have a role to play because of the enormous amount of money that we put into higher education, but we cannot control it. Okay. I find this to be an extremely exciting time to be involved in higher education and higher education policy. I think my background has given me a great perspective on the issues that we're dealing with. I do have, again, an open-mindedness to innovation and instructional innovation, in particular, given my background, given my work in the General College at Appalachian. I come again to this role with a real aversion to regulations and over-regulations. I want to encourage online education. I want to encourage distance learning in every way possible. I pointed out to somebody, in spring of 1962, I was living with my grandparents in New York City, up in the Bronx, taking the train down every day and working near Wall Street. And I'd get up early every morning and watch a distance learning, a Russian literature class was being offered on TV. I really thought in 1962 that this was going to become the wave of the future. I really did. And I've been shocked since then that it didn't catch on sooner. I loved it. I bought the book. I read the material. I didn't take the course for credit, but I was able to learn a lot about Russian literature as a result of watching that class. And I was just, again, so surprised that with the television technology that we had, that didn't take on. But online education now has been much slower to catch on than I thought. But in 2012, we had more than 7.1 million students taking at least one online course during the fall term, and that was an increase of 412,000 students over the previous year alone. So we know that there is a great deal happening. I want to encourage competency-based education, and I was really excited to pick this up off of the table today to see the survey that you all have done on what it is, what are the essential competencies employers need. Now, I think most of us already know this. I don't think we need to do these studies, but they prove what it is that we pretty much already know. And I keep looking at my BlackBerry, and I apologize because I want to make sure that that I'm not being told I got to get out of here early. But again, these are the things I hear every day from the employers in my district every day. And I see this myself. You know, members of Congress are allowed to hire up to 18 people to work on our staffs. And so we know these things too. We know the kind of people that we need in our offices and what are the skills that they need. But what we have to do, again, is change how we are dealing with the issue of competency-based education. I long ago understood from having gone through accreditation, and as I said, been on a school board, been in a university, been in a community college, that seat time doesn't mean much at all. And that we need to do a much better job of honoring the skills and knowledge that people have. By the way, I'm so excited that you all keep emphasizing skills. You may or may not know that the bill I introduced that was to reauthorize the Workforce Investment Act was called the Skills Act. That title was very important to me because I wanted people to understand that that was the emphasis that we wanted to place. That is, we want to help people gain skills. In terms of competency-based education, we want to also honor the skills that people already have and give credence to them. So, again, it's not a new concept. I remember people coming into the general college telling the dean that they thought they could challenge courses that they'd already taken, or that they had the skills already that were going to be taught in those courses, and they wanted to challenge them. That was always an exciting time for me because it saves the university money, it saves the person money, it's a win-win situation. And anytime we can get into a win-win situation in anything that we do, we need to be embracing them. So what I want to do in the Higher Education Subcommittee, in the Higher Ed bill, and I hope going forward in the Education Committee in general, is to focus on the very kinds of things that you all are interested in, and that is helping people achieve degrees or certification, which is very important to them. We are a certifying country. We want people to have certificates or degrees. So we want to help do more of that. We want to reduce the amount of debt that students are incurring to get a degree. We don't want to price people out of the market. So we want to stop the automatic reflex of Washington, which is, when in doubt, regulate. We want to say, what is it that we can do that's innovative to make life better? I also am personally very interested in improving what we do in apprenticeship programs. We can do a lot better in that area, and also what we can do in dual enrollment. I have been a huge advocate of high school students taking college courses while they're still in high school. I have some programs in my district that are doing fantastic work where students are graduating with 2 AS degrees, 2, at the same time they're graduating from high school. And I'd like to see you all give some more thought to that, to see what can we do in that area. How can we convince legislators at the state level how much of a cost saving that would be to them and to the students to be able to do that. So I'm excited about what you all are doing in this area. I want to work with you, and I want to hear your ideas about how we can do a better job for employers who are looking for that skilled workforce, and how we can do better with employees who want to improve their life station by getting the skills that they need, the degrees and the certificates that they need. And using the scarce resources available to us at the federal level and at the state level to get better results for everybody involved. Again, it's a win-win situation. So I thank you all. Thanks for inviting me. And again, I truly apologize that I have to scoot away, but I came early so I could chat with some people, and I'm glad that I was able to do that. And I congratulate you on what you're doing. I hope you have a wonderful conference while you're here in DC. Thanks a lot.